Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And Jacob Wile, too.
And welcome to another mind-bending episode of Tiki's Universe, the show where we cover all kinds of different animated programming, including DuckTales, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and, of course, Rick and Morty, which is going into, kind of pulling into the finish line of its third season. Only 3 episodes left to go after this, guys. I'm sad. I don't want it to end. But anyways, guys, we're here to talk about the Ricklantis conspiracy. So what do we all think of this Atlantis episode? How did it compare to the DuckTales interpretation of Atlantis?
Isn't it mix-up?
You're right. It is mix-up. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the Whirly-Durly conspiracy.
Yeah, yeah, we have like a subtitle as well. We have Tales from the Citadel.
Tales from, yeah, well, right. Of course, this is a great kind of like bait and switch because Ricklantis totally just sounds like a filler, like, oh, a 20-minute adventure, Morty, a quick in and out, not much will happen. That'll change the narrative.
Now, this is the April Fool's Day prank Rick and Morty could have pulled that I would have loved. This is the proper one, not one that that kind of delay Samurai Jack. This is a nice April Fool's Day joke.
So yeah, we were talking a lot about hard sci-fi concepts in the past couple Rick and Morty episodes, and holy crap! I mean, I still think that Rest in Ricklaxation is probably my favorite of the season, but this might be the most mind-bending episode of the season. My God, like what this says about just identity and individuality and whatnot. Oh man, there's a lot of like Orwellian goodness to be talked about here.
Oh yeah, this one was really good. I'm with you, Tiki. I think honestly this one might be my new favorite this season, but the other it's between this one and
honestly I just think Rest in Ricklaxation has more jokes and it's more funny.
They're both really good though, but this one's more building the universe. The other one's just more straightforward.
Right. So, I don't know. Yeah, just a really, really solid episode. I also think it has a vibe of something like, something like Crash, where it's all kinds of different intersecting stories,
Yeah.
like Crash or Magnolia or one of those types of movies.
It's so well structured in terms of like how the overlap happens, like kind of the ultimate payoff of all these stories after they converge. Mm-hmm. They converge in the broad sense.
Of course, we get the framing device of Rick and Morty, like, oh, I really don't care what the Citadel of Ricks are doing at all. I'm sure it'll have no bearing on us whatsoever, Morty. Let's go to Atlantis and have a quick adventure.
Yeah.
It's obviously saying, yep, it'll have some effect on them in the future.
All right, so let's go through there. It's basically, we kind of broke it up into 4 main storylines. Let's start off with the Simple Rick Factory, which might be the strongest one. Oh God. Simple Rick knows. Simple Rick cares about the finer things in life. And we've bottled up that feeling and manufactured it for you.
I gotta tell you.
So each wafer from Simple Rick is chemically infused with Simple Rick's own biological happiness.
I think the cutest thing I've ever seen Rick and Morty is young Beth in the chair saying, "I love you, Daddies." Oh my God, my heart was melting. How cute it was. I love they addressed it with all that. It's like you bottling the happiness from that memory on like a constant loop. It's such a dark idea. You're right, Dave. It's such an Orwellian idea, but at the same time, in your mass-producing happiness, the illusion of happiness,
right,
as a wafer.
It's almost as good as a Jeff Goldblum wafer.
Yes, but it's like you have your Goldblum and then it's gone.
It's like happiness soiling green.
Oh God,
it's people. Yep.
Of course, this one gets into a lot of.
At least here they're being open about what it is.
Yep.
Right. This one gets into a lot of working class tension that I feel is actually really relevant to today's workplace.
Yep.
Of course, I love Cool Rick, because who hasn't worked in a place where there's been a Cool Rick, okay? Okay, I just want to put that out there. Like, you put in your hard work and you put in your time and you think you're going to go places, and then all of a sudden a guy with a more charismatic personality comes in, no experience, just flips off the whole place. I really, like, Cool Rick really got under my skin in a good way.
To me, the moment that I thought was one of the big standouts from that story, from the Rick Factory story, is when the realization after he, instinctually, just like all the frustrations of the day and the embitterments of working in that system, he just, he kills the. It wasn't just he didn't. Did he kill Cool Rick, or was it just?
No, he killed the former supervisor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, he kills former supervisor, and then like that realization of like, oh god, there's like a window.
No, I love that. Yeah, when he holds himself in the room with Simple Rick, and then we see the look on his face. Yeah.
I love that horrific. It's like they capture the realism.
This show does that like consistently really well. You know what I mean? Kind of capturing the realism of the intensity of situations.
Yes, because we rarely see the other side of that. Even in movies and so you rarely see the other side of like that the hostage situation. What gets you there, and we got to see what gets you there, man. It's like that realization. Oh crap, I am in over my head here. Yeah.
Of course, we get a Wonka Rick.
Yeah, Wonka Rick, man,
Oh
and
my
that
God.
little wafer cane.
Yep.
And he bopped people in the head with it.
At that point, I really wasn't surprised.
Now, I have a theory about this episode that I think you guys are gonna like.
About Wafer Rick?
About this whole storyline. I think at least the storyline, if not the whole episode, is just one big commercial for Simple Rick.
Really?
Because we saw in the in the multi-dimensional cable episodes, we saw that commercials we have these really long commercials. Like, remember the commercial where it's like, I forget what the guy's talking about, what the guy's selling, but it's a Justin Roiland character. And, and it cuts from the commercial to him going about his daily life, buying groceries and everything. And it's like, it's all part of the commercial. So we've established in this universe that like commercials can sometimes like take on these really elaborate stories and whatnot. So what if and especially because the narration comes on at the end too, and that's how the new Simple Rick was made.
I'm not saying it's impossible, Tiki, but I personally don't buy into it.
Okay, fair enough.
Seems a bit of a stretch even for this show.
All right, anything else with Simple Rick?
Well, let's see. Again, I love that so while we have the illusion of happiness, we have the illusion of freedom at the end. Ultimately, is where we go with that. I love that we don't kill, the Simple Rick Factory Rick. We pair, basically we stun him and then we put him in the machine, and like his the illusion of his freedom, like kind of having an insurgency kind of happen, and he. And ultimately, he is. He's like, oh my god, yeah, Rick made it, yeah, he gets away scot free, give him keys to the car and everything. Wonka Rick gets him out of it, hooray! And then, of course, just like him coasting on that high of like all the best things, basically this horrific situation turning out well for him, and just that being kind of the new fuel against going from the illusion of happiness to going to the illusion of freedom. And again, the freedom is what all these Ricks kind of deep down want. That's kind of what the Mortys and the Ricks are kind of vibing for. In a way, it's kind of fascinating. All in a wafer.
Right. All right, so let's move on to the training day segment. I really like this one too.
This is my favorite of all because I'm a sucker for good cop episodes. Yeah, man, I like good police stuff, and this to me, I thought was basically doing training day with Rick and Morty and having Morty be the bad cop. I thought that was hysterical.
I really love the design of Cop Morty.
Yes, and he's overweight, and he's has city miles on him, and he's so embittered.
It's played to their expectations, guys. You'd expect Rick to be the bad cop in this situation.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh, it's so great.
And
again, like he's by the book up. Yeah. And we're going to Morty. It's the majority of it is training day. We also got a little bit of Chinatown in there. Well, it's Morty Town.
You're going down, Big Morty.
And it gets really brutal too. Right? He's electrifying him on the hood of the car. You get away from the car, you filthy animal.
Yeah, and this definitely kind of speaks to police brutality as well. Like I said, I love how this episode is kind of like a mix of hard sci-fi with kind of like current issue stuff.
And it's a great umbrella of you can look at serious issues with a kind of an absurd cover. So basically, that's kind of your get out of jail free card for whatever subject matter you want to tackle without being ostracized for it. Hey, they're all Mortys. What can you say? They're all these characters you're familiar with instead of being kind of a bigger social issue. But at the same time, we're talking about that, which is brilliant.
Sure. Okay.
I love the trust, and I love all the payoffs in the Training Day one and the cop Rick and Morty, because we have this great bit where I love the partner dynamic that starts there. Where basically, even though they're very different, one's going by the book, one isn't. After they have that great kind of fake out with he holds the Morty, and then in the room, which was just for creepy effect and for sympathy, they have like a room with a crib built into it, just the best. That to me is in itself is a brilliant conceit. But regardless, is the fact
I love the crackheads making the bootleg portal fluid.
Got it. I love my pseudoscience, and I love the logic of that. The fact that you would want a portal fluid too, and it's the fact that we got to see what happens when a portal does not work, which is so eerie. You just all got to burn them alive. But I just love the trust that forms between them, and that basically he goes in there and he kind of to help his partner out. He kills that.
I have a question though.
Yes.
Was it always revealed to be? Was it always known to be fluid, or was it just like? Is this the first time it's actually revealed to be fluid?
I mean, I think visually it looks like it's fluid, because you see the fluid in the little capsule in the gun.
Yeah, it's the first time it's been addressed, but it is always kind of fluid-like.
Just in terms of how they visually show it.
Yeah, there's never voiced it, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Let's see. Right. The point is, in the end, like the whole, I picked the right, I picked the right Morty. Basically, put your faith in the right Morty, and by the end, after killing big Morty, the big confrontation there. Killing big Mortys.
Can I also say there's this great Rick and Morty app game called Pocket Mortys, which is essentially Pokemon, but with all the different variations of Mortys. And so I got a real kick out of this episode for that, because we see all the different Mortys that are in that game. Probably the funniest moment in this whole episode for me is, well, one thing's for sure, Cowboy Morty's not going to say nothing. I'm just going to mosey my little cowboy booty right out of here.
I also like the Morty confusion gag when the kids are like, Morty? Which Morty?
Right.
Yeah, that's funny. But
the cop Morty, obviously.
Yeah. But man, it's that really nice echo of him kind of taking in what his partner's trying to conform him to kind of the corrupt way of thinking, and in the end he's kind of using that against him, and he kind of has like the Chinatown turn of phrase, it's Morty killing Morty. In this case, it's Rick killing Morty's. It's kind of a great. He's accepting his fate with dignity. It's it's a fascinating it's a cool little story right there.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, let's move on.
Okay, so let's get to the Stand By Me type story.
Or Stand By Morty, the appropriate title, I guess.
I don't have a lot to say about this one, honestly. It's just kind of like a nice sort of like, oh, look, it's a Stephen King type story with Mortys. Ooh.
Stand By Me meets an indie movie. It's kind of what it is.
Right. I do like the design of the Headmaster Rick.
Yeah, look, it's a fun little design.
Mm-hmm. And I do like the designs of all four of the Mortys, too, because, as I said, I think it's funny how suddenly this culture is obsessed with the Stephen King stylization. Because really, it's just like all four of these characters, even the lizard character is kind of like the stand-in for like the African-American kid to a certain extent. So you've got you've got the fat kid, you've got kind of like the wannabe cool kid.
I love the fat Morty thinks he was just left-handed Morty. I love that. That keeps cracking me up every time I watch it. Is the fact that through all of his life he believed he was left-handed Morty.
Maybe she should use a left-hand to eat vegetables.
And of course, the
biting line.
Slick Morty he's programmed to be a dramatic Morty, and I love the line. You're not just dramatic, Slick Morty. You also roll up your sleeves.
Oh god! And again, it was a nice punch. I wasn't out of all of those that we used to rub. I love the ending sort of where dramatic Slick Morty. He threw himself into the wishing to the wishing. What was it?
The wishing portal.
The wishing portal. Yeah.
And then it was a garbage chute.
Womp womp womp.
However, there was that question of did it actually grant any wishes? Mainly, did it really just did play into what their dreams were by the ending with all this bad stuff coming true, seemingly through the next story we're going to get into.
All right, so let's get into it. The big crux of this episode, of course, which is Political Morty, aka oh my god, Evil Morty is back! Holy crap!
Or Evil Morty pulls a house of cards.
Pretty much. Yeah, I gotta say, I was calling this as the episode was going on, but I do like that final reveal.
What?
I haven't watched it at all. Don't spoil it for me.
Wait, what?
House of Cards. He's talking about House of Cards.
Oh, right. Sorry. I just meant in terms of it's a political climbing up the ladder. That's all I really meant by the House of Cards.
So I love how Political Morty starts out as just like kind of like the look at him go. One thing's for sure, Political Morty is sure gonna win the cutest candidate award.
Yeah. Again, I love there's like he's such like a prideful grandpa Ricks. At the same time, though, it's they're underestimating him. And here's the thing: I suspected this whole episode that it was going to be Evil Morty because I remember like that eyeball thing at the end where he tucks in the wiring.
I kept expecting the eyeball to just pop out.
I know. I was waiting for it the whole time.
But I love the reveal. I love how we get the reveal right at the end. It's a lot more subtle. It actually took me until my second viewing to catch it.
Yeah, I felt so vindicated when I saw
it. I noticed it the first time when the files flew. I was like, "That's Evil Morty."
Right.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, I love the political advisor who then becomes kind of like wrapped up into the scandal to take down Evil Morty. That's a good sort of it's kind of like a political intrigue sort of storyline. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and of course the botched assassination attempt.
Like a political thriller.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I really like the Political Morty speech. Like, it's very much kind of in the style of, like, just not to name any names in terms of politics, because this applies to a lot of politicians, but just kind of the silver-tongued, like, like you'll say anything to make it sound good, but you're not really saying anything at all.
He's really just doing it to gain control of the entire Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
And basically rule the Ricks.
In a very Kevin Spacey manner, he's very confident. I love how confident he is when he's running.
I like how coldly he fires the political advisor.
Yeah, and you're fired.
And that's why you're fired.
Oh yeah, and it's just that reveal at the end. I love that he's when he's getting his haircut, he's the most mundane things. While he's getting his haircut, he has this big kind of political coup that happens. So basically, he takes control, and that's like that to me is like the ultimate kind of like if he is an Evil Morty, I'm just going to be baffled.
I think it's time for a dark and ominous speech.
I love like he's making fun of the ominous speech with a speech about ominous speeches, which is great. Now that's a lot of fun.
Of course, I love the just the shock value of the room full of powerful Ricks just get taken out.
He keeps a few of them around though. He kept Steve Jobs Rick around.
Oh God! But Wonka Rick is sadly no longer with us.
Are we sure Wonka? I forget if
I'm pretty sure Wonka Rick is dead.
I remember the two at the end of the table were alive. One of them was Steve Jobs Rick. I can't remember what the other one was. So many Ricks. Look at this. Look at this. Where's Waldo of Ricks, folks?
I know, it totally is a Where's Waldo of Ricks, right? But the real question is, Dragon, where's Bojack?
Then all the Ricks floating out in the airlock.
Oh, yeah, we kind of pulled a Guardians of the Galaxy on that.
Yeah, and I love that ending shot. It's very much kind of pulls everything full circle, like, holy crap, like, these are all the characters we've been following for these 20 minutes, and this is all their fate. Like, it really hits home.
We had Deep Throat Rick in there. Remember the guy who kind of blew the whistle on him? Like, again, that's a great one, because that shows you...
I also love Morty Rick.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, Morty. They've like been held back.
Did I graduate yet?
I'm pretty sure Morty Rick is also from Pocket Mortys. I know Cowboy Morty is from Pocket Mortys.
Well, the thing I really appreciate about Deep Throat Rick being in space, because that shows you that's Evil Morty tying up loose ends, because that guy was alive when we last saw him. It shows you like, oh my god, off screen he killed him just to make sure like the word didn't get out. So that's good.
Okay, so and then of course we get like Rick and Morty are back from their adventure. Absolutely nothing is going to happen in the Citadel to influence, which of course we all know is probably not the case. And get some mermaid puss, Morty. Oh, I really hope this isn't a one-time thing. I hope I get to see her more.
Yeah, we're gonna do this every week.
Yeah, Atlantis, baby.
I just love Evil Morty's plan. How he just kind of blended into society and he's kind of taken down from the inside. It's beautiful.
All right, so in terms of the next 3 episodes, we have Morty's Mind Blowers.
I know this one's going to be based on the promo.
Okay, tell me.
They're basically doing, what's the TV one called again?
Oh, Interdimensional Cable.
They literally say, Rick turns the camera and he says, yeah, we're doing this instead of Interdimensional Cable.
Okay.
And basically, it's Rick's basically all the memories that Rick has had. Morty has like a bad memory. It's like something happens to Morty. He says, "Oh God, this is terrible." He says, "Okay, let me take you to this chamber." Reveal like this chamber filled with various vials of like multicolored, kind of goo or liquid or kind of crystals. I guess. It's basically like multicolored stuff with memories inside of him. He says, "Oh yeah, this happens a lot, Morty. Actually, what I do is I erase your memories. And I store them in here, like all the bad stuff you forget." And the idea is, I guess we're going to explore those bad memories. And we're going to find out that's going to be kind of like our little vignettes.
Okay. I do like Rick directly addressing, like, yeah, we're not going to do an interdimensional cable episode, but we're going to do this instead. Whoa.
Exactly. That's exactly what it says.
Okay, episode 9 is the ABCs of Beth. I think it makes a lot of sense that the penultimate episode would be centered around Beth, of course, because she's been more of a focus than she's been in the past 2 seasons.
I enjoy a good Beth episode. I'm looking forward to that.
And episode 10, Rick Churian candidate. That's got to be the Evil Morty confrontation. It's got to be. I mean, it's set up so well. I'm sorry. It's called the Rick Churian Morty date.
That's a very forced title.
Yeah, I think it works, though. I mean, look, I think a lot of the Rick puns are forced. It's just kind of like a tradition with the titles. But
have they always been Rick pun based ever since?
Pretty much. I mean, not every single episode title has a Rick pun in it. Like the ABCs of Beth, for example, doesn't have a Rick pun.
Certainly, okay.
Some of them do, some of them don't. But
yeah, like Really Dirly Conspiracy doesn't.
Whenever they can work a Rick pun in, they do.
Mm-hmm. Vindicator 3, Return of the World Ender didn't.
Sometimes they work into doing like close Rick counters of the Rick kind.
Right.
Twice. There's only like 1 or 2 episodes that have Morty in the title.
Yeah, which of course one of them being the next episode, Morty's Mind Benders.
Yep.
Okay, final thoughts, gentlemen.
I said the only other one I can think of is Morty Night Run.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm sorry, Drake. Jacob, final thoughts.
Interesting episode to say the least. I mean, I can't really say much that you guys haven't said already. I really did enjoy it, and look forward to more Evil Morty.
Yeah, I really like this episode. Again, it might be my new favorite this season. We'll see the other 3 fair. I mean, it was really great kind of building the universe. What I really loved is that we had kind of 4 really interesting different stories that kind of tied together with kind of the mock kind of like evil villain speech at the end. It was very interesting. I loved it. It was very well plotted in terms of story, and I like kind of that subversion. I really like the whole. You think it's going like a whole Ricklantis thing, but no, hey, it's Tales from the Citadel. It was a lot of fun. My favorite out of all of them is the Training Day one, but again, really good storytelling. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So next week, as I said, we will be talking about Morty's Mind Benders, and of course, DuckTales coming up soon enough, guys, in the next couple weeks. Woohoo! All right, until then, guys, have a good night. Well, one thing's for sure, I'm not going to talk. This little cowpoke's going to just mosey on out of here.